Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace. I went by the flea market over the weekend and picked up a number of LaserDiscs and VHS tapes, so I thought I would go ahead and show them to you. First up we have the third boxed set in the Golden Age of Looney Tunes collection. This volume contains 10 sides on 5 discs. Total running time of this box set is 9 hours and 35 minutes. And this box set covers the period between 1931 and 1948. Now, I have Volume 1 also, but I haven't yet watched it because it's still sealed. However, last night I did go ahead and watch Side 1. Side 1 devoted to the cartoons produced for Warner Brothers by the Harmonizing Studio. In 1930, the head of Warner Brothers Short Subject Department, Leon Schlesinger, saw a demo cartoon that Harmonizing had produced and signed them to an exclusive contract to produce cartoons for Warner Brothers. Now, in 1930, they started a series called Looney Tunes, which starred Bosco. And in 1931, Harmonizing started another series called Merry Melodies. And that's what's on Side 1. Some of the Merry Melody cartoons from 1931. Now, that series was different in that each cartoon would feature in the cartoon a song owned by Warner Brothers. Each of the studios own their own music libraries, and those songs would crop up years and years later in cartoons. Same thing happened at MGM, by the way. I watched a Tom and Jerry cartoon the other day, and Tom, Spike the dog, and Jerry had all become friends, and they started walking merrily down the sidewalk, and the music was we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. We hear he is a whiz of a whiz. And that's where it went to something else, because they stopped. They can't cross a puddle in the street, as I remember. Okay, VHS tapes. Each of these cost me $1. This is 15 minutes. Adrenaline, fear the rush. Angel Eyes. I'd never even heard of this movie, never even heard of the company that put out this video. Feature Films for Families is the name of the label, and underneath it says strengthening traditional values through entertainment. Anyway, film is called Behind the Waterfall. One thing I meant to show you, you may notice this is in upside down, but I'll get to that in a minute. When I buy used tapes, whenever I get the opportunity to buy them in person, I check the cassette carefully. First of all, I shake it to make sure it doesn't rattle, which is indicative of a broken piece of plastic within the cartridge itself. And also the weight. As the VHS format got older and older, the tapes got lighter and lighter and lighter. This is mainly because the cassette shells were manufactured cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But if you pick up an early VHS tape, say on a magnetic video label or the Nostalgia Merchant label or the Media Home Entertainment label, for example. Those tapes are heavy. Now, something I also do, find it, push in that little release tab there, and I open the tape guard. And the reason I do that, one, is to make sure the hinge is not broken on the guard, and also to visually inspect the tape to make sure that it doesn't have any creases and that it doesn't have any tape edge damage. Now, tape edge damage is usually caused by tapes being stored stacked, and especially if it was rewound in a VCR that rewound the tape loosely and unevenly, where the tape is not one smooth reel. Also, I'll get into this, the best way to store tapes vertically and with the take-up reel on the top and the feed reel on the bottom. You want the weight to be at the bottom of the cassette shell and not at the top. Just a little tip. I've been collecting VHS tapes since '77, so. Okay, this film was adapted from the second and third novels in the Dune series. This is Children of Dune. Comic book villains. The Craft. Dracula 2000. Eight-Legged Freaks. My wife saw this in the bag and she said that it looked like a film that she had seen once a long time ago, and she expressed an interest in watching it again. This is A Far Off Place. This is a heavy tape, although it's not an early release because it has the label actually printed on the cassette itself instead of on the label. Obviously also a previous rental tape. But nice and heavy and no noises. Very well, heavily built shell. Femme Fatale. This one is still sealed. Friday Foster with Pam Grier and Yaphet Kotto. There he is right there. There used to be a radio series back in the classic days of radio. I'm talking the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Anyway, it was an anthology horror series called The Inner Sanctum. I don't know if this film series has anything to do with it or not. Inner Sanctum 2. Next up we have Notorious. This is a low budget release, but fortunately it was released on Fox's budget label, Key Video. I say fortunately because Fox used the standard SP fast mode for their Key Video releases. Tape is nice and heavy, well built. I have other releases on the Key Video label. Paramount had a budget label too. I don't remember the name of it, but they used slow speed tape. Shame, shame. This is still sealed. RSVP. As you get older, your memory cells start to die. Anyway, this is a full moon title. Witch House 3, Demon Fire. I have quite a lot of full moon titles on LaserDisc. Don't have this series though. Okay, and my wife was going through reorganizing some things, and she found some stuff that might be of interest to some. Asian Cult Cinema. Been a long time since I've read this magazine, actually. Some of the shots I can't show you because they would print nudity in some issues, so we won't go there. Ultraman. Indian horror films. She also found some old LaserDisc sale flyers. She knows not to throw those out. This is from Sight and Sound. This is from the very first company I ever bought LaserDisc from, Starship Industries. They still sell LaserDiscs on their website. This is a complimentary catalog from Image Entertainment. They would put these at the checkout, and I probably picked this up at the checkout of a Camelot because I bought a lot of LaserDiscs at Camelot. All the Camelot stores here locally carry LaserDiscs. This catalog, however, is from May of 1998, and by then the LaserDisc companies were taking pre-orders on LaserDiscs, so there are probably some titles in here that if they didn't generate enough advance interest as far as pre-orders, it probably didn't get made. I wonder if the Gumball Rally came out. I don't know. I have to look at the LaserDisc database next time I'm there. Passenger 57 I know came out because I have that LaserDisc. I think I have Memphis Belle. I know I have Memphis Belle on VHS. And I have Dark City on DVD. Image is still a major publisher of DVDs. They, of course, no longer make LaserDiscs. Well, they never did make LaserDiscs. They distributed them, and they were one of the largest distributors of LaserDiscs in the country. Lasers for less, and by less they mean $24.98. Yep, LaserDiscs were expensive. Those are on DVD. I have Volcano on LaserDisc. The coast is toast. I have Independence Day. I wonder if that ever came out on LaserDisc or DVD. Titanic, the final chapter. I have it on VHS, but it's a slow-speed tape. It plays very well for a slow-speed tape, but it's still a slow-speed tape. I have that one in upper left. Computer Animation Classics. A lot of Playboy LaserDiscs were released. Image released a lot of porn also. There's none of that in here. Okay. Journey to the Far Side of the Sun is another film I have, a British science fiction film. The original European title of that film is Doppler. This one appears to only have been released on DVD. I'll need to search it out because I'm a Rick Wakeman fan. And Rue McClanahan in Nun's Sense. Notice the hand puppet dressed as a nun. Looks really demented. Okay, I have a lot, and I mean a lot, of Hong Kong movies coming on DVDs. I also have some VCDs coming and some VHS tapes. So until next time, stay awesome.